Mr. Chairman, sir, I cannot either begin or end my speech by congratulating the Railway Minister on the performance of the railways. I would simply refer to certain questions which require immediate attention. I agree with the various honorable members who spoke yesterday and today that there are deficiencies in the working of our railways. Indeed, they are not on par with the railways in some of the advanced countries of the world. But for a country like ours, where the majority of the people are living in an awful economic condition, whether in towns or villages, I do not think that our railways are so bad. We must also take into account the economic conditions obtaining in our country. In my opinion, an economically weaker nation cannot expect to have a first class railway system. I have traveled in railways in many other countries and I do not think that our railways are much worse. It is said that there is overcrowding in the railways. It may be largely due to railway travel is cheap when compared to other forms of transport. They are competing with buses. It is really more comfortable for people to stand in a railway train than move about in a bus sitting. In fact, in this country, people travel too much sightseeing, marriages, and other purposes. Had people been traveling mostly for business purposes, there would have been need for special facilities being given to them. I do not think there is any necessity for us to encourage travel too much in a country like ours, where other people travel too much for fulfilling mere social engagements. This does not mean that I am opposed to traveling as such. I wish to make it quite clear that I am not here to defend the railway ministry at all. What I mean to say is that money is required for more pressing matters, for improving the conditions of the rural areas, and for expanding industries rather than for adding to the amenities on the railways. Sir, many questions have been asked with regard to the frequent accidents that have taken place on our railways. General answers have been given to them, but government will be the first to admit that these accidents are a source of public anxiety. I have tried to find out what the real causes of these accidents are, whether the signaling system is defective or whether there is the failure of the human element, as is often said. But I have been told by railway officials of long experience that in regions where density of traffic had increased, the accidents too have increased. If this explanation is correct, it will cause even greater anxiety to the public than the accidents themselves. I know that it is claimed by the railways that during the last few years the number of accidents has gone down. But what the railway authorities mean by an accident is not the same as what is meant by the public by this term. Whenever an engine fails or there is some defect in the signal, the railway authorities say that it is an accident. The public do not think so. If we are to take it for granted that the enormous increase in passenger traffic in railways is bound to lead to more accidents, well, I am sorry to say that so far as the public are concerned, the future is loaded with anxiety. I now come to the question of railways contribution to the general revenues. It has been pointed out that the general administration is drawing too much from the railway revenues. One honorable member went to the extent of calling it as an exploitation, but I must say, as an economist and as a citizen of this country, that the general administration has a right to get a reasonable dividend out of the huge investment in the railways. We must remember that the railways are getting their capital at a much lower rate of interest. This question was raised long ago. There were two points of view in this matter. After careful consideration, it was decided that a dividend should be given to the general revenues. After all, the contribution from the railways to the general revenues is only of the order of 7 crores of rupees. This is a very small amount when compared to the advantages the railways get from the government. While concluding, I would like to say that the railways represent our largest nationalized undertaking and they should be a model for efficiency. In spite of the efforts made by the railway administration, there is not much improvement in the position. The railways should train their employees and they should be given proper education as to how they should behave with the public. It is said that the public often do not cooperate with the railway staff. This is not correct. I assure that the public will always cooperate with the railway staff when they discharge their duties correctly. Dear sir, we take this opportunity of expressing our deep sense of gratitude to all our valued customers and fellow businessmen who have stood by our side and offered cooperation during the past few years when the publication business was in a tight corner. It is due to warm appreciation and cooperation we have received both from the press and the public. We have ventured our business in all important cities of our country. Children's literature in our country is not well developed as in other foreign countries. To induce our children to cultivate reading habit, it is quite essential that we should publish books in very simple language with attractive pictures. Hence, we propose to explore this hitherto unexploited field, not merely to make it a business proposition, but to do our humble might to spread knowledge among the children. Children of today are citizens of tomorrow, and every effort should be made to develop the young minds to broaden their vision and outlook. To achieve our object to spread knowledge and good literature on various subjects, we expect the cooperation from booksellers and individuals. All kinds of books printed both in the country and abroad are available with us, and an exhaustive catalogue of our stock with relevant details like trade terms is enclosed herewith for your information. You can be rest assured that all orders received will be executed promptly and at the most reasonable market rates. We believe that our rich experience in the book trade over a decade and men and materials at our disposal will give you confidence in our firm, and we hope to get your valued orders before looking out for alternative sources. Special terms will be offered to you to sell our books in your area, and proposals, if any, to expand our business relations will be given the highest consideration. We hope our terms and conditions are attractive and meet with your requirements. We will always be ready to negotiate with you for a regular business between us. We fondly hope to receive your esteemed orders at a very early date. Thanking you in anticipation. Yours faithfully.